I guess that's the
Oh,
beauty.
well,
I guess that's kind of the beauty of like all uh Twitch streamers a little bit, no? Like that you never really see what's behind the cameras. It's always just like the colors, for example, like I put up the
yeah,
LEDs.
yeah.
It's always just the colors in the background. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do the ones with the you guys will be able to change it in the chat. It's gonna be really sweet. Like the colors based on what we're saying and stuff or what we're talking about. That's gonna be a really
That's
cool
why
addition for
that's
sure.
why I love this videos being like, this is my setup. I think it's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't have a cool enough setup to do something like that. Like, Call Me Carson did a video on it. I don't know if you saw it. He did a video where
I did not.
he was looking at people's setups, like they were sending it to him, his followers and stuff, and he was rating them, and some of them were just atrocious. Like, I thought mine was bad. Mine's messy, but like I have the proper equipment, you know what I mean? I even got the candle that I got as a tip the other day.
Candle.
The candle, dude.
That goddamn candle.
Exactly. All
Wait.
right. So today we have a very good discussion. Um, one that a question that I've particularly been a bit impressed with. That's kind of why it's at the top as I was making this schedule. The question is, do we have a responsibility to help each other? Ferris, by the way, I can 100% hear myself coming through on your end on stereo.
Hey, you see? What did I tell you, Nick?
Do you have headphones plugged into your
Um,
computer?
no, I don't.
Why?
Because no, because there's no Hold on. I don't know. Can you hear me? Can you hear yourself?
I don't know. No, it doesn't look like it.
Problem solved.
Actually, hold on. Let me test it. I can hear myself just a little bit. So there's still something going on. I don't
Well,
know. Is your how I just don't understand. Do you have headphones plugged in anywhere? Actually, plug your headphones into your phone. Oh
yeah, but
yeah.
then they won't be able to hear me. Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. I think these would work.
I see.
Oh, hold up.
I can't
Okay,
wait until we get
does this work?
professional equipment first. Yeah. It looks like it.
Okay, let's just go. Let's just go. Okay.
Like I personally I don't yeah, I hear myself a little bit. All right, whatever. It's fine. Um I'm sorry to everyone who has to hear me twice cuz Ferris can't get his stuff together, but
No way. Wait, there's no way. How are you hearing yourself twice?
I I don't know. For okay, listen, my phone is far away enough from my microphone that the audio is so quiet it can't capture it. But your phone must be close enough to the computer where it is capturing it. And technically, if you
My phone, my phone is connected through headphones, so you can't. I can't hear a thing going through my phone right now.
if you plug, okay, then do this and plug your headphones into your phone and turn off your computer audio.
And I can't hear
You
you.
can hear me through stereo.
But no, they're connected to headphones now.
What do you mean? What do you
I
mean?
am hearing you through Discord, and my audio talking to stereo is through these headphones.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
headphones. So, in order for me to hear you, I have to keep my computer audio on. In order for me to talk to stereo, I have to talk into these.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
You don't have to talk into the. I don't have my phone is just plugged into charge. It's not plugged into anything. I don't have
Okay,
headphones
fine.
plugged in.
Now you can hear yourself.
Yeah, I can hear myself. Actually, wait. No, I can't. At that distance, I cannot
What
hear
is,
myself.
dude? Okay, so
Yeah,
start
now
talking.
it's fine. Yeah, I can't. What the hell,
Okay, fine.
Ferris? All right, fine, fine.
So
Enough.
I was right.
It's good enough. It's good enough,
Whatever.
Ferris. We'll cut out the
Whatever.
God,
You will.
technical difficulties. We'll work it out eventually. Okay, do we have a responsibility to help each other? Yes or no, Ferris? What do you think?
Yeah.
You always got to start with a yes or no question.
You're
You
ruining
think
doctors. You're ruining doctors right now. You're invalidating what they're doing.
By saying we don't
Like
have a response. I'm
they're
not saying no. By asking this question isn't me saying
they
that
are
we
they are
don't.
on the edge of their chairs.
No, me asking this question isn't trying to say that it's bad for us to help each other. I'm just saying, should we? Like, do we have a requirement to do that, or is it just like goodwill? Like, for example, today, like I've been working DoorDash lately, which it's not bad. I'll probably make a video on it.
Mother Teresa, basically.
Yeah, well, here was the thing though. So I went to Hungry Howie's to pick up food, and there was this lady there who had like a ton of pizza, and so she obviously could not carry it with, her two hands. So I offered to help, and I just brought it and helped her. And so there was no reason for me to do that, and that's part of the reason like why I was excited to do this question today, and I was glad that that happened to me today so that we could talk about it. Because I didn't have to do that, but there was something that told me that I should do that. Like, I guess the question now is there's obviously like some kind of inherent good that people have. Should we, listen to it? And why is there people who don't listen to it? You know what I mean?
There are some people in this world who have no empathy to the point where they don't feel like they have a responsibility for helping others. So I think the answer to that is not yes or no. I think it's just it depends on what kind of person you are. Because like there are people out there who straight up just like have no they feel like they have no need to help others, which is not necessarily a bad thing because some people actually like they feel like they can't control it.
Wow.
So
Jesus.
you
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
yes, I hit my metal bottle. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. Oh, but like for me personally, like I'm not trying to like glow or anything like that. Like I consider myself a pretty empathetic person. Like I'll help somebody out like if they're in need. But like it's not universal, and that's a big thing. Because like if you are going to say, do we as humans have a responsibility to help others? It doesn't apply to everyone. It really doesn't, and that's the reason why I don't know
But like,
because
what
some
what do you
people
mean it
are
doesn't? What do you mean it doesn't apply to everyone though? Like, you think it doesn't apply to everyone? You think that the idea of being good doesn't apply to everyone, or the actual ability
the
to
the
do good doesn't apply to everybody?
the action of helping others does not apply to everyone because some people just don't feel like the obligation to do it.
Yeah, but like the question, I guess like that's my point though, is like why is that? Like, because there are a lot of people
I
who do though, you know what I mean? And like especially particularly around Christmas time, I've noticed, especially as a delivery driver. Like, I got a candle. Here it is. Here's the candle. It's a beautiful candle.
I mean,
It smells really good.
look, there's what's one scent? What scent is it? You didn't tell me what it was when you got it.
It's this is
It better have a scent.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, my bad. This
Oh,
is a
whoa, whoa, whoa.
dried lavender and oak. Some lady gave me this as kind of like my tip, I guess, which I was perfectly fine with. I was okay with that. I don't mind that.
I'll be very okay with that. That
Yeah,
would be a very
it smells incredible. I lit it up in my room earlier. It was fantastic. But that's what I mean. Like, why? Like, she didn't have to give me that, and she didn't even have to like. Even though this wasn't like a monetary gift, it's still something that she gave me as uh showmanship of her gratitude. You know what I mean? Like, but why?
because it's who we are. That's like what we do.
Well, like that's what
That's like part.
I was thinking about that the other day. Like, if you really think about it, like we're really just the furthest evolved species down the evolutionary chain. There's really nothing fantastic about us. Isn't that scary to think?
Yeah, that is scary. But then like, I mean, Nick, did you hear about the whole like Israeli military official alien thing, where like
What?
an
No.
Israeli like military official was like, no, 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 an Israeli official was like, we have made contact with aliens. Trump does know about it. We don't think it's you guys are ready to find
Yeah, there's
out,
no
so we're
way
gonna.
it's real.
Yeah, you can believe that or not, but yeah, like maybe we are the furthest evolutionary species. Maybe we're not, but regardless, there isn't anything special about us, and yet we're still doing these things because we have some people, not all of us, have an obligation to do that.
But like
It's what
like
moves the
my
world.
point by saying like we're just pretty much animals that are just furthest down in the chain, by saying that implies that we have some kind of designated path that we're planned to take regardless of whatever we do. And I was kind of thinking about things like social media and how it plays into the idea of our desperate need to connect to one another, and that a lot of the studies that were shown lately about being locked up and in quarantine was that I think it was like a 44% increase in anxiety and depression in people ages 16 to like 25 or something like that. And so correlation doesn't equal causation, you know what I mean? So like I guess my point is that missing aspect of being able to talk to one another and see each other on a day-to-day basis was the thing that we craved most. And we switched to social media heavily after that. TikTok exploded, Instagram exploded again, Amazon and packages, they were being sent every
Yeah,
day. And I don't even, how much
crazy.
did he make? He made like $80 billion or something like that in like a month, like a
Yeah,
ridiculous
no, I mean,
amount. Yeah.
like the thing is, all of that happened because like that's once again that's who we are. We crave social interaction. Like I read a quote the other day and it was like it summed it up pretty perfectly. Like humans were not ready for this quarantine because we cannot handle the lack of human interaction with others, and
Yeah,
it's
but
a
does
very
that mean
big
like we're designated to fail though? Like if there's obviously inherent flaws that are taking place that we can't shake no matter what and we'll like cling to as a drug. Like for example, like social media provided that aspect of interpersonal connection that we needed, but the second
exactly
we lost that or we lost, being able to be with one another, that's what we clung to immediately. It's like, being addicted. So I guess that's kind of my point. Like, if we're on this designated path, like, are we doomed to fail then? Because everything before us has
okay.
failed for the most part. Like, there are other species that have been around for longer than us. So, like, I'm not saying we're the longest species. No, I don't think we are to be around, but we're the most developed. And I guess the question after that is, why is that? Like, why did monkeys? That
Okay.
that's the question for the next podcast.
All right.
Why did monkeys? That's it.
Why why not sharks?
Yeah.
Actually, I just learned
Why
like no,
monkeys?
it's like no, I mean like why did we why aren't we dolphins? You know? No, it's just all about adaptation, bro.
Yeah, but like, have you seen the
I
thing?
like I
Like, you've
literally
seen the thing with the dogs, right? Like Bunny, you've seen that,
what?
right? Bunny the dog, you haven't
Yeah, for
seen
sure.
those?
First thing that pops in my head is dog bunny for sure.
You haven't seen those on TikTok? The dog that presses the buttons. What about Bunny?
Oh
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Have you seen the one where Bunny literally presses who this and then looks in the mirror and then looks at the camera?
No.
But okay, my
No,
point
no.
my point with that being is the dog basically shows consciousness and looks at the camera and at the mirror, acknowledging that it understands that it's a brain trapped inside of a body, basically. Which is a pretty deep,
Okay. No, it does not think that. It does not think
which
that.
is a pretty deep
It does not
thought, which is a
correlate to the
pretty
fact
deep,
that its brain is absolutely not.
which is a pretty deep
Uh-uh.
thought to have. May I say?
It is.
Well, okay, but
But
like
I
think
think
about it. Like you don't think that makes sense though? Like we're the furthest like developed race, right? Or not even race. That's wow, that sounded incredibly racist. Furthest developed species. Um Dogs are always around us, right? Like dogs are an overall breed and an overall species as well that has been around us and we've taken in as companions as well as cats. And like you see tons of videos of cats and dogs actually acknowledging like what their owners are saying. So you don't think it makes sense? Like you don't think that there's a correlation there? Maybe not a causal effect, but like some kind of
no,
a.
that's just consciousness and how their brain functions.
Okay, so you're
They
saying that
aren't
animals
super
have consciousness.
we all originate from this one cell or like one point of origin according to science, and we all went to our separate paths and our separate uh, beings because of just evolution and adaptation. Mammals had or dolphins had to survive in the water, so they got gills and all this kind of stuff. It's like that's not, in my opinion, like what you were saying about how dogs are like they are aware of their like that they're aware that they are just a brain inside or they're just a brain trapped inside a body. That's just like consciousness, like what they did on TikTok about like pressing all those buttons. That's just like they're not that far off from us. We're all connected in some way, like beings,
So
like
that's I mean, like
humans
that
and other
doesn't
beings.
scare you.
Oh, it doesn't scare me. It's just that's science.
Okay,
It's just
fine,
science. Like
fine,
it's
fine, fine,
evolution.
fine, fine. Okay, so the question that we have is should we help each other? So if that's the case and we agree that it's consciousness, so would you agree that having
No, hold on,
consciousness, would
pause,
you
pause.
okay.
I'm saying, I'm saying it's when you say consciousness, that's a very broad term. I'm saying we have a need to help each other because we're all connected in some way. We all came from one source of origin, and then that's it. That's all we have to do. Why else do you think we want
I'm
we
not talking.
see
Okay,
somebody
you wouldn't let me finish. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about. We're talking about animals now. We're talking about dogs, dogs. So for example, like, y- you would agree that consciousness in any shape or form is a requirement of being, I guess, living.
Yes, a lot of pro abortionist people will tell you no, though. But yes,
Okay, well we're not talking about that. Okay, fine. So if we can agree that you have to be conscious to be considered living, or at least conscious as in you can process what's happening, then we can agree then animals should be defended as well, right? You shouldn't kill animals then. So bottom line is Ferris is vegan.
veganism. You so are you into veganism?
You clearly are, based on
No, I'm not
the
saying that.
connection I've just
Nick, there's
outlined.
superiority, inferiority. That's all I have
Really?
to say. No, okay.
Yeah.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, we are all part of origin, so therefore we are all connected. So the question would be then, why are we eating animals? Like that in and of itself is like a whole no. Hold on. That's like a whole other discussion because like there's like a lot of like religious restrictions and moral reasons for that. But I just think it comes down to like you said, we are the most advanced and we are the most processed beings in the world right now, and I
Okay.
think that just gives us enough of a reason
Ferris, I
to
love
do.
doing these podcasts with you because you always have a different perspective than what I think. Okay, fine. So let's connect this to a different way. You want to connect it to humans? Fine. So we're all from the same, from the same species,
Well,
right? So,
I'm reading up on psych.
okay, so you say that because we're all the same species, we should basically help one another because of that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we? Like,
Re-
there's war and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
That's just because we're being stupid. Or
okay,
is dumb.
I guess here was my point. So you think we have a natural responsibility as the most developed species to take on a task of controlling and manipulating everything else because we have the ability to do
I
so.
did not say that. I did not say that. No, I'm
That's why
saying
I'm trying to figure out exactly what you meant so we can be on the same page
I.
about this. Just so
Okay,
I
so I
make sure
mean,
you're not an evil
so.
dictator.
No, I wish no. Anyways, no.
What?
What? First of all, with
Wait
the
a
war
minute.
thing,
Hold on.
I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. No, let me talk. So,
FBI,
like
you
the whole
should
thing.
not be
First of all,
watching me. You should be watching Ferris. Okay.
I open up. No, the whole thing with war, like we're not perfect. This rate, like humans are not perfect, and that is just a great example of why we're not perfect. It's because yeah, I think we all are connected in some way, and that's not even like coming from like a religious perspective. I think like evolutionary wise, we are all connected to a point of origin. The thing is, though,
Do you
is
think that means that we have capabilities of like communicating to each other telepathically?
no, because I don't think we're connected like that. Like I don't think we're connected to the point where we can telepathically speak to each other.
I
I
mean, the
think
cells
that's
can communicate with the rest of the body past like faster than light speed or something like that, right?
but to the point, yeah, because they're all housed within one organism, and it's to the point where if you were to contact
You
another
don't think we'd be
species,
able to like Alakazam Pokemon Psybeam that,
no.
to like
I,
another
the reason
person?
why I think that, no, I think no, because cells are really efficient, and we are extremely efficient at what we do in our body. But it's to the point where I don't think that like okay, like receptors and signals, for example, like when we like do anything or like when any sort of like whenever we need something in our body, our our cells send signals and they attach to receptors and all that kind of stuff. We do that, and it's like it goes through so many steps to the point like it represents how cells signaling other cells is already a very hard thing to do. So cells signaling foreign cells that are in a different body that we don't have any physical contact to, that's really hard. And I don't think it's I that's like that seems very 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 impossible.
Yeah, but
Like
like,
think
remember when I
I
had
know you're very like I know you're very like anything could be possible, and honestly probably could be a way in the future of people figuring out how to do that. But
remember
like, if you like, okay, Nick, let me ask you: do you think brain surgery is possible?
brain
Do you think
surgery? Like,
somebody
what do you mean?
brain surgery? There was a scientist who, there's a doctor. He's infamous now because let me look up what his name is. He is
Yeah, I
famous
think brain
because
surgery
he
is possible. What do you mean? It's called neurosurgery,
no
neuroscience.
no
There's
no
people who
no
do
no
it.
no no
They
no
make a killing.
no 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 no.
They make like half a
That's
million dollars salary. They're insane. It's Doctor Strange you're talking about. Ferris, are you referencing
no. I'm
a
not saying that.
Marvel
I'm not.
character? Is that what you're
No,
doing
no, no,
here?
no, no. So there's a scientist. He became infamous because he believed that we can do a brain transplant, brain surgery. We literally take the head of the brain.
Oh,
So like let's say that's
that's
exactly right.
interesting.
Sergio Canavero is he basically was like, so let's say somebody is disabled in a wheelchair and they need a new outlook on life and they want to get out of that body. They would
Yeah.
take their brain, the wheelchair brain, and they would place it in another person's head, a body that is well
Jeez, I
functioning.
imagine that would have to be a permanent transition, though. No, I mean Elon Musk is
Yeah,
already working
they,
on equipment that's
they
supposed to like actively monitor and translate your thoughts and your dopamine and serotonin and
exactly. The
neurotransmitter
thing
levels
is,
in order to
the thing
keep you
is,
feeling correct. I'm so scared for that, dude. I'm like that. Suicide
every
rates are gonna take
single
off when that drops.
exactly. No, no. There's so much like concern with it. Every single person who heard about this, the immediately thought that this was bogus. He did try it on a monkey and it did work,
Really?
but
No
the thing
way.
is,
There's no way it worked.
no, it did technically work, but he like I'm pretty sure the
Okay,
monkey died
okay,
like
yeah,
soon
okay,
after.
right, okay. First of all, how long after the transplant did the monkey die? One. Two, how good? There's no way the monkey could actually function after that. Are you kidding me?
No, Nick. What I'm saying with this example
I feel
is
like.
the
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
oh, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say, like, I feel if you were going to try and do something like that, you would need to replicate the type of person you were doing it to. Like the subject, for example. Like if someone were to take my brain and put it into someone else, they would have to put it into someone of a similar like build, I guess, if that makes sense. Like someone who does similar things and has similar, weight and
Nick,
similar
that
height and all of that.
no,
Just so because the
no,
body
that right
would. You don't think so?
no, no, I don't think that would help at all. You know why? It's because Nick, there is like take two perfectly healthy men. One of them could have the genes
Or
for the
women?
most like like literally like do you know there are so many people in the world right now who are perfectly healthy but they have the genes for the most dangerous diseases. If you were to put their if you were to transplant the head of another person into the head of another into the body of another person, and those genes can get mixed up and like like the amount of like things that can go wrong with this head transplant idea is so freaking like it's so
Yeah,
high.
but I
Like
imagine like they'll eventually have like I always make this comparison. I've talked about it plenty of times while we've done the show, and I've done it plenty of times in my psych class where I compare us to computer. And I know it's kind of ironic because we're the ones that built a computer, but the reason why I say this because it's the closest thing that we have to replicating the human brain other than an actual organ of a human brain. And when it comes to computers, like we all have different parts and we all have different ways of thinking, but at the same time, we've been able to adapt various different structures of computers and wiring in order to work simultaneously with other pieces that weren't previously compatible. So, like for example, we have the Wii, right? So on our Wii, there was only one way to connect it to the TV, right? So we had to get an adapter. That adapter would turn all three of the cables that we needed for the Wii originally into one HDMI port that could then be put in and installed, and then it would translate it so that the TV could read it, and eventually it would play. You know what I mean? So even though you're saying that this is all very improbable, I think eventually, especially with people like Elon Musk and what he's doing, I think eventually it will be possible for them to restructure the brain, actual like physically and chemically restructure it, so that we could be able to do something like that. I totally see it. My
I
mom my
don't.
mom honestly 100% believes there's going to be some kind of immunity built.
I no, I did a whole ass research paper on that
You
and
don't think
like
there would be?
immortality and all that. Like, do you mean when you say immunity? Do you mean like immortality?
Yeah, immortality.
No, I don't think that there's going to be a solution. Our bodies are
Really?
literally designed to die. Like our
Eh,
bodies are literally like
eh.
it's like
They're
apoptosis.
not designed to
Telling
die. No, they're not designed to die. They're just
they're
designed to wear
designed.
out over a significant amount of time if paired with the not
No, no, no.
right parts. Like
I, I misspoke. They're not designed to die. I'm saying that they are chemically formed and they're engineered to the point where at some point death is going to happen because of all of the processes that take place in our bodies: telomere shortening, immunity decrease, or I'm sorry, immune system functioning decreasing, endocrine system losing its like its power in our body. Like there's so much that our bodies go
yeah, but
through.
I'm not a doctor, I'm not a professional or anything, but I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you here in saying it's not possible, and in what you said about us basically not being able to be immortal because that's just we're programmed to die. And I don't agree with that. I think we're not programmed to die. I personally believe we are set up in a way, kind of like I mentioned, like a computer. So for example, our computer stores
I
memory
do.
and it remembers our movements, it remembers the websites that we go to, it remembers how to function properly and how to get the best functioning out to and distribute all of its data and all of its power to various things that you use throughout the day on your computer, and it remembers all those things consistently to run better, and that's very common in the new computers. So that being said, I have no doubt that our brain works similarly, where we're processing consistently what's going on in our body as well as our surroundings, and we're taking that all in order to make ourselves personally feel comfortable, like there's some sort of inner core. So with that being said, um, I think that our body is programmed to run with the organs that we're given. So even though I think it will be possible to consistently give organs, I think eventually we're going to be able to get those donations and those surgeries to the point where they're basically perfect and as if you had a brand new lung or a brand new liver or whatever it is that you need. Um, but I, I think there's going to be a bunch of psychological repercussions that come with something like that, especially with a brain transplant entirely. Like I think that's gonna be ridiculous, but I think in the way our society is heading, I certainly see that being a probable solution. Parrish, I think we're gonna have a hell of a lifetime. I really do. And I don't mean that in a
No,
bad way. I
here's
just mean that in the like I'm
no.
scared. Like I like the effort that our society is giving. I just don't know if it's necessarily driven in the right direction most positively. You know what I mean?
Here's what I have to say. Immortality to me, it's like Nick. Okay, here's the thing. Like there is so much that can make us die. Like I know that's like a very weird way of saying that, but like our body, when I said our body is programmed to die, no, it's like our body is just like through everything that it does, through the millions of billions of things that it does every day, death is part of what it does. Like like cell death is literally our 20,000 cells probably just died on my body right now. Like it happens all the time. And it is, I don't, the thing is with immortality is like, if you were to imagine some sort of device or like drug or something that would make us not die, you would have to like literally change everything that our body is doing. Like if you are going to do immortality, then you're going to do you're making a different body. Like you're not like it's not that simple as like okay, immortality, we're going to stop killing ourselves, we're going to stop shortening our telomeres, we're going to stop doing all the other things that make us die eventually. No, it's like you are changing everything that our body you're changing what our body is. And that's why I think like immortality can't happen. The head transplant, I think he's ludicrous with that kind of stuff. Like if you Nick, like think about how much could go wrong. First of all, I looked it up. Like you have to like he's gonna like freeze it in like a container, so that like he can like prepare the other body, and then like he's really gonna place it in there's there's so much that can go wrong, and there's so like and I understand that having the motivation to do these kinds of things is like really high and like really fascinating, and I think it's really fascinating too. I just think like there are limits. Like we are here on this earth for a reason, in
There are
my
no
opinion. And I
limits.
what'd you say?
There are no limits. That's why I was about to approach you with that. I was about to
No, I
approach
don't
you
think
with a question. It's
point
very
of
bold of you to say that there are limits, Ferris. I don't know.
when I
That's
say that,
something that you always.
I'm not saying there are no limits in terms of like human endeavor. I'm saying that there are limits that our bodies can have. I think
That
so,
our
and I think
bodies can have maybe, but like the way you're saying it is like I guess my problem with it is that every time we do these discussions, it's almost like you present your ideas in a way where you're saying like we shouldn't even try, and that I kind of have a problem with. And obviously,
I know, I
I
know,
love you, Ferris, but like I'm gonna have to disagree with
no,
you
no, no,
here. You know what I mean? I don't
It
see
sounds
that.
it sounds very pessimistic. I know. The thing is though, is like immortality, man. Like, does that even sound fun? Do you want to live on this earth for the rest of your life?
No.
Who wants to
Yeah, but like think
keep
about it.
doing what
This is what we used to say in middle school, remember? Like what was that one book that we read about the immortal guy and he's like in love with this 12-year-old
Tuck
girl and this
everlasting?
yeah, Tuck Everlasting where we would always talk about it like, "Yo, bro, what would you do if you were immortal?" And, and everyone was like, "Bro, that would suck." And I remember, I'm pretty sure it was you who was just like, "Bro, you can just like off yourself." Like you're not wrong. Like if there was immortality, like I imagine that the brain would still function the same way that it does now. Like that probably wouldn't change, unless we like
No,
put ourselves in
no.
a digital form. I don't see ourselves, our physical
That
body
I believe
changing.
in. I think
I'm never putting
I
myself
think
in a
we can
digital
actually.
format.
It could happen though. That I actually think is
You
possible.
think
Like
okay? So
turn
you don't
like
think
literally like
immortality is possible, but you think transferring an entire consciousness into a computer is probable? Are you kidding me?
1,000%.
How?
No, no,
What
one
do you
thousand percent.
mean?
No, no, no. Let me explain.
Through
Like
AI and predictions perhaps, but like you as an actual consciousness, like you present
no,
in this moment right now, transfer it into a computer is not possible.
no, I think that's actually
Uh,
possible.
But if
I think
what
Nick, let
explain?
me explain.
Yeah,
Let me
please. You're
explain. Let me explain.
delusional.
Technology is always improving to the point where even back in the 80s they thought that this was a possible thing to do, converting everything into like living on in like a computer. And that kind of stuff, like when I say that immortality is impossible, I'm saying that it's impossible. It's really 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 risky and not the best to change the way our, because like I said, if we try to be immortal, we're going to change ourselves. Like it's not that simple where we just become immortal and everything is just normal.
Yeah,
No.
Ferris, but you saying that that was an idea that they had way back in the 80s is kind of a BS statement for you to make, considering the fact you were just claiming that we shouldn't even be doing something like this because it's risky. You literally made a point and then backtracked on that point.
No, I didn't say that. No, I said it's not. I'm saying it's risky. Yeah, but I was just saying like, hey, they were thinking about this in the 80s, and I brought that up because I'm saying that it's not that bad. It's not that far of a stretch to say that we can put ourselves on computers. Like, because they were still, even with their primitive ass technology, like, I mean, I'm not saying primitive, but like, even like their like less intuitive technology back in the 80s, like they were still considering like, dang, this is actually like possible because like we're finding new things
They
and we're
think time
finding
travel is
new.
possible. You don't think that's possible. So do you think
Well, no,
it almost seems like just
let me
because you don't think it's possible, we shouldn't pursue it? All right, I'll let you finish. I'll sit back. I'll chug my water until you're done. Until you're finished talking. Anyone who's on stream right now, someone followed. So I'm gonna go ahead and Ferris, go ahead.
okay, so this is all I have to say. I brought up the 80s thing because okay, here's the reason why I brought that up. If you were to like go back to the 80s and hear all that kind of stuff, that proves that people are very much willing and they were like the 80s and the 90s, people were like still like figuring out the most basic forms of technology, and we are way past that. That proves that we are actually like we're capable of doing even more of what we're doing now, like in terms of technology. Like what we have right now, it's probably just like the tip of the iceberg, and it's going to get way better. And I think to the point that we can transfer some. When I say like you can put yourself in a computer, that's a very like broad statement. Like we already have forms of AI. We already I don't know if you saw this, but like on like a month ago, I saw this like article about like how these scientists like put together like a program that of like all of these like individual like organisms basically, and they like solved puzzles completely on their own. They like thought of like ways to solve
Cicada?
these like what?
Cicada?
No, not cicada. Cicada. No, no, no. Let me explain. It's like basically like they ran this like computer program, and like it's kind of like I don't know if you play Portal, like that Portal game,
I
and
know
it's
of
like
it. Yeah, I know the
yeah,
general. Yeah.
it's like you're trying to like get through the like it's basically you're trying to get through an end of a maze
Yeah, yeah.
by
I
like
I
doing
know the I
things.
know the gist. Yeah.
And these like little like I don't even know what to call them. Like they're not people. Like we'll call them people. Like these people in this program, they didn't even like they went completely against like what the scientists thought they were going to do. Like like for example, like I'm just gonna make up an example. Let's say in order to complete a stage, they had to move a ball to the right. But like there was a wall obstructing it, so they had to like figure out a way to do that. They expected the people to just like move the ball forward and then like maybe like move it left or like something like that, and then like move it forward again and move it right, and then they would get past the wall. They didn't do that though. They like bunched up or something like that. They like climbed on top of each other, took the ball and like threw it over the wall. Like it's I'm just like I know that I'm ranting right now, but it's basically just proving that like AI is so much more like powerful than we think it is, and it's to the point where I think converting ourselves into a computer consciously, I think that's actually possible.
Okay.
Very
Multiple
not in the
questions
future
then.
though. It's very
Multiple
yeah.
questions then. So, do you think that transferring us into a digital state of consciousness would change the way we communicate with each other? Like I'm not necessarily like linguistically, like in terms of ones and zeros or however it would be in terms of like actual words. Like for example, let's say we were talking in whatever computer code ones and zeros, right? Let's say that those codes were transferred, like and I were to talk to you digitally as this transferred AI persona that you claim, right? So I send you this message, you know, what do I say? Does it sound positive? Oh, who's calling you?
Oh, sorry, no, it's not.
Get back on
It's alarm.
stereo. It says you're reconnecting.
Oh, whoops. Hold on.
Okay, my bad, guys. I was on a
Sorry
good
about that.
point, and Ferris got a phone call. Unbelievable.
Whoa.
You're still not back, my guy.
It says I am.
Nah, you're. Oh, there you are. Thank God. All right, we didn't have to end it. Perfect.
Anyways,
Okay, so let's say I send you this message, right? So what does it say? Is it good morning, how are you, or is it a different type of theme, a different type of feel, a different type of is it more personable, is it more friendly? Am I typically more friendly? Am I the same as I usually would be? Like how are we going to behave losing that actual nerve of sense? You know what I mean? The five senses.
I I think we can fix that very easily. Like the form ways of talking, like that seems like a very like social media and like messaging and like all this kind of stuff. We can like I can get your vibe very easily if you send a specific text. Like that's a very like I think that's a very simple thing that we can do. Like that's like one
But that's
sixty
what I mean.
fourth
Like,
of
would that change? Like, because I know you as Ferris, but like as a digital AI, like you wouldn't necessarily have a face. You'd have a picture, and even a profile. Like when you find someone, when someone adds you by profile, and you see them, and you don't know who they are, like you don't just add them back necessarily, because a profile doesn't tell you anything. Actually, knowing the person is different. You know what I mean? So how would that change if that's even how it would be? Because that's what Elon Musk was saying, that his thing would be able to make us communicate without even needing words in 10 years.
yeah. I mean Oh man, looks like Elon Musk agrees with me.
Elon Musk is a maniac,
No.
dude. He is an absolute brilliant man. Like if someone assassinates Elon Musk, I don't know if that would be a good or a bad thing. That guy is ridiculous. He is always on his grind and I respect it so much. But like I'm afraid how far he'll take us, honestly. Like my man is already trying to go to the to Mars. He's already been on Mars, I think. SpaceX has put rovers out there already, haven't they? With NASA?
We're going to the moon in 2024.
What do you mean?
We're going to the moon. Like NASA declared they're going to the moon by 2024.
Well, yeah, again, probably. Maybe not. That probably not taking people. Well, no, like you know you can get private flights now. You can get flights to space now. Did you know that?
No way.
Yeah, you can buy a flight into space.
Flight into space.
It's a ridiculous amount of money, but you can do it. You can actually pay NASA for a private ticket into space.
1 second.
You don't believe me? Look it up.
Uh,
Look it up.
1 second.
You
I'll
can,
look it up. I will look it up, Nick.
you can read it out to the stream and to everybody out here to prove that I'm right. I'm pretty sure.
God. What do I type? I typed flight into space.
It's like $10 million, I think.
What the fuck? What?
It's how much?
250,000 to fly with Virgin Galactic.
No way. It's $250,000 to go to space. Well, no, but I'm sure that's probably got its limitations. It's probably not like to the moon. Like, you know how far that is? It's probably like just out of orbit.
I don't.
That
No.
is
Okay.
nuts,
Anyways,
dude. That's so crazy. Could you imagine going into space? Ferris, we'll be able to go to space. Are we meeting up in 20 years to go, bro?
we'll pool our money in together to buy a ticket.
Yeah, we can definitely with this podcast, you know, mark my words, people. Mark my words, in 10 years, Ferris and I are going to make $250,000 to go to space, and we're going to bring a bunch of people with us, and it's going to be fantastic.
Well, it's probably like 250,000 per ticket, so we're gonna have to probably get. If we just want us to, it's 500,000.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll start a Kickstarter.
We'll get it. I'll put that on my list.
Yeah, we can do a Kickstarter. And then I'm sure people will fund it, and then they'll be disappointed when they realize the tickets are just for the two of us, and not everyone gets to come along who donates.
If 20 million people cash up to me $1, I can go to space.
I bet if I made a TikTok right now, just like in my bed with the LED lights, and just put like, damn, I really want to go to space, and then just like put my PayPal or my Venmo, people would probably just start giving me money if it went viral.
You would get like 4 cents. I'm sorry. There's
Dude,
no
if
way.
it went viral,
Nobody is gonna.
have you seen the people who have made like thousands of dollars off of donations on TikTok? It's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah. That makes me scared. Like, what if they're just like faking it? Like, what if they just like they're oh jeez. What if they're just what if they're lying about their situation? Like, I heard like one person being like I'm having like problems with my family. Like, any money would help. I'm gonna try to move out. Like, I don't know if they're being like I know it's kind of a shitty thing to.
Yeah, those are
like,
definitely faking it. But there are some people who are straight up like, yeah, bro, I just want like a new car. Like, can someone just like give me a few bucks? And then people do.
Sad.
Like, I tried to do that the other day. Like I told you, I was DoorDash delivering, and there was a girl who was working off of tips at Applebee's, and she was kept going in and out, and it was like 19 degrees out. It was cold as hell. And I tried to give her like $1 tip because that's all I had in cash. And that's all I wanted. Like, I couldn't give her much either because she wasn't wrong. I tried to give it to her. She goes, no, you're working off tips. I'm like, so are you. Like, you're doing much harder work than I am. Like, I'm driving in a warm car with music blasting and food. Like, what do you mean? All right, we do have to return.
It's always my
Go ahead, though. Say what you were going to say, and then we'll return back to our discussion.
I always wonder, like, people who are like recording TikToks and posting it online about like send me money, like sell your phone. Sell your phone.
Well, yeah, but like you might be able to make more money by using that phone.
That's the whole thing. But
That's
like,
what's
if
his
you're
name?
really
The guy with the ocean spray. Dog face guy.
Oh.
The guy with the skateboard and the ocean spray. Oh, do you know?
Oh wait, no, I know what you mean. Oh, okay.
Freedom.
No, I do know what you mean.
Yeah, that's.
I what you mean. No, but that actually could be legit. All I have to say is people can lie. No.
They can't, but that's what I mean. Like, would lying even exist if we were AIs? Would lying be more? Would we even, would like what would happen? Like that's my point. Do we and still like that the question still remains, do we have an obligation to help each other even though we've explored some very interesting thoughts, I think, which is what usually happens. We never usually continue down the path of whatever the question is, but that's kind of the point here. We just do whatever the hell we feel like, which is, that's how life is and that's how you should
Talk.
approach it. That's kind of how we feel. So, that's what we try to
Yeah,
express here. But
don't care
yeah,
what
but
others
well, no, you gotta
do. What you
care.
want.
You get no. Don't do that. You still gotta care. But like the
I still
question,
care about what others think.
no, don't. Ferris, you're telling them all the wrong things. Don't care what others think, and be
Not
careful
care
of
about
what
what
you
others
say.
think. What if people criticize you about what you love?
Don't. Don't listen to those criticisms. That's what I mean. Like, why do people even criticize each other? Like, why can't we all just get along? Like,
Because they want to feel
why are
better
there
about
not more
themselves.
people? Like, not to toot my own horn or anything. And the people listening, if you were here in the beginning, you would have known. I, I helped a lady with her pizza earlier today, and like, as I'm saying, not to toot my own horn, but like, why can't people be more like me? You know what I mean? Like, why are there not more people out there just like
Lots of things.
helping out?
So
I know
many
there
reasons.
there are lots of people in total out there who do help and who do donate and give their time and their money and their effort and everything that they have to other people, but there are also like for every one person that does that, there's probably around 20 people who do the complete opposite, and it's really sad to see. And like I don't think the solution to something like that is technology necessarily, because technology is going to have everything man-made will have its flaws because humanity is flawed, and that's just how we are. So
Yep.
I don't think there's one way to necessarily answer any question that we have here, but I definitely think the one way that we should not go about it is planting chips in people's brains. I think it would be cool to see what would happen, though. I certainly am not
So
going to
you're
be standing in line to do it, but I want to see. I want someone to do it. I want to see what the
so
hell
you're
he's been working
anti-vax.
on, huh?
So you're anti-vax
No, but
or
I
anti-vax.
like the connection there. No, I'm not anti-vax, but I just
Right?
don't see. I don't know. I would like to see. I guess since Elon Musk has been a very big topic of discussion today, I would like to see Elon Musk pursue his chip implant with precaution and most importantly morality and ethics, because that's something that I would love to see future on in businesses, especially in someone like him who is an evident leader in our world and our economy and most importantly in our country. So I hope that he just approaches it with safety and is making sure that it's not going to cause psychological harm, which a lot of it will. There's no way to make sure that doesn't happen, but I still think that there has to be some kind of maintenance for it before it's released. You know what I mean?
I think so too. It's just like I said before, we're always trying to improve, especially technologically. And when it comes to having, like, you asked the question, like, why aren't people doing things that you did today? Like, there's a lot of variables that can like go into that, like psychology. Like, dude, so much stuff can.
Yeah,
Like,
and I
I have a
know a
friend
lot of
who's like,
it's yeah.
when you asked me that question, like the first person that I thought of, like a person who is non-empathetic, it's literally somebody who went to our high school, and like he told me like he doesn't even know why he's like that. Like he just doesn't feel it. Like if he sees somebody in need, his first thought is not I need to help this person. Like it's just I'm just gonna do my own thing.
Yeah, and
Like they don't know.
I don't want to be a douchebag, but like I'm kind of the same way too. Like there's sometimes like where we went to school. I mean, I guess you didn't drive that way, but like on my way home, we went through some, I don't want to say bad neighborhoods because it's not that they're bad. It's just that unfortunately there's just not a lot of economic growth there, I guess you can say. So there's usually people on the street corners, and after a while you start to not feel bad, because I started noticing that on these street corners all of a sudden people were rotating, and I know that there's rotations that happen with some homeless people because those some corners just end up being really good and they have discussions because they all happen to actually sleep in the same spots too. But like For example, there are also plenty of schemes where people rotate and it's actually like some kind of mafia organization, you know what I mean? So you don't want to give money to those kinds of people. And like for example, remember we were at mass in high school, and one of the we were being supported by this charity organization, and remember they were promoting a video, and one of the women that was in the video was like, yeah, she was like 25. She's like, yeah, I got 6 kids. She's like, I can't find anywhere to support them. I can't feed them all. And I'm just like, well, yeah, I mean, obviously by 25 and you have 6, like, I understand, if it's like sexual assaults happen and it's obviously a terrible thing and it should be prevented at all costs if we can. But, you don't, 6 times, like, it, right, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, it's tough. And there's, because ultimately, you mentioned psychology, and when it comes down to the psychological profile of the everyday human being, it's all about the independent person and what we want individually. So I think it's very interesting that even though all, I think we all definitely should help each other, but whether we do and whether we absolutely should, I guess, is different because we can't, just due to our psychological profile and being inept in the way that we handle ourselves before other people, if that makes sense. I think that was, I had a better way of wording that, but I guess that'll do nicely as well.
I think I agree with you in some points. It's like when you say like whether or not we absolutely should be helping people, the individual person. But oh, I think your mic is going off crazy right now. Your mic is going insane. uh, I can hear you through stereo, but not through Discord. Strange. Anyways,
Oh, you can hear me?
there we go. I
Okay,
hear you.
okay.
I hear you.
So what were you saying first?
Yeah. So all I have to say is people, everything that we do is based on our background, and I think when you say that, like how we act and like whether or not we should help others is like you basically said just now like it's based on like your individual, like at what we do and like whether or not we help others is like based on like who we are individually.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I agree with that very much. The thing is like there's also like a lot that you have to take into account, like like upbringing and family and social, surroundings and
Yeah,
all
but
that
like,
kind of shit. I
where's
think
the
that
cutoff
greatly.
where it stops affecting us? Where we like, there's plenty of scientific studies, and to be
I
honest,
actually
I've
think there's
already
no cutoff. I think there's
You don't think
no
there's a
cutoff.
cutoff? You think
I
it's
don't think
forever gonna affect us? You don't think? I think that there's certain general things that we have to learn when we are born, and once we get to certain milestones. I think by age 12 we're pretty good. I think there's by age 12 the only things that can really impact us are relationships, familial issues, jobs, and death.
exactly
I mean,
exactly.
thankfully, I personally have not had to experience really any of those. Um, just, I
But
mean, good,
don't you
due to
think
good circumstances and everything. But yeah, go ahead.
exactly what you just said is exactly what I'm saying. Like if a kid was brought up in an abusive household, don't you think that they're going to have a higher chance of having a lack of empathy? And that's just the reality of it. I think, and I am actually a maybe not like forever, but I'm a very big believer that how we are brought up and how we began life is what influences us for the rest of our lives. Like how I am around others is based on how what I was taught when I was younger, and what I do and how I help others is based on how I was brought up. And that is a really important thing. And I feel like people don't recognize that enough that like
So you think
you
there's an
don't know
incredible stress of importance on upbringing?
huge importance. Like there's so like I literally just finished watching Goodwill Hunting for the 45th time. Like somebody who has a lack of empathy
Yeah, but
or
that's a
even like somebody.
movie, bro. You
Oh,
know what
I
I
know it's a
mean?
movie, but like no, Nick, it represents so much.
It does. Like
Like
it's a well done movie, but it's made to emotionally appeal. That's why you feel the way you do about it.
no, it's not even that I feel the way I feel about it. It's about like the whole therapy and psychology and how one's upbringing can influence how they are and how they help people and all that kind of stuff. Like a person who has the worst upbringing in their life has very little chance, not very little chance. Let me rephrase that. Somebody who has a poor upbringing will have a struggle with doing the right thing, and that is
But with doing
really
the right thing, you think so?
no, not with doing the right thing. Like when I say doing the right thing, I mean like helping people. Like
Right, you think so?
if you have no moral compass and you have no like
Okay, well, I guess what defines like bad upbringing? You know what I mean? Because like everyone has their own individual realities and their own individual circumstances. So like what's considered bad for me is not gonna be considered bad for someone who lives, uh,
of course,
10 miles away from me down the street, down Walton.
100% agree with that, but we all have our own interpretation of what's considered bad, and that bad is going to influence us in all kinds of ways. You, your interpretation of man, I had such a shitty childhood can be completely different than what other someone else is going to consider as a shitty childhood, and that's totally fine. And I hate when people say like, oh, um he had a better childhood than me. He shouldn't be complaining about his childhood. That's like so that just invalidates like anything that
Yeah.
they went through.
Well, thank you for
Like,
proving my point because I was just gonna say that I think your point should be not that there's a great emphasis on necessarily parenting, but there should be a greater emphasis on management of what happens in those bad emotions because like we said is everything that's bad is inherently bad to different people for different reasons because of our individual realities. So if that is the case, we should be talking more about how to manage it, not necessarily how to eliminate it because sometimes there are some people who are just too stubborn to change, and unfortunately that's just how it is. And there are a lot of people I think that's can we change is a different question. I'll write that one down too. We can talk about that for sure, but I don't know, but I
that's a
think
really
yeah, but I don't I guess my point is that there's really no I lost it.
there's really no what.
I lost it. But you know what I mean. There was
I know what
I made a good point. I made a good point. I lost what the point was, but I made a good point.
no, I know what you mean. Here's all I have to say. Like, if you as a person recognize that you are inempathetic, I don't really know, like you don't have a lot of empathy and you don't feel the need to help others, I think somebody who recognizes that is already on their way to trying to better themselves. Like if they know that what they're doing isn't right, per se, like if what they are doing is to them not considered right, that's a good thing. And the whole idea of helping others and doing the right thing for others and how that's not sometimes like not exhibited from other people, like, there's a lot of things that can influence how they act upon like we just said, childhood and upbringing and all that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of things that can influence how we help others. But and kind of like sort of like as a foresighting for our next talk, I do think people can change because I think you can recognize a problem, realize what you're doing is wrong, and try to fix it, and then change. I think it's very possible to change. It's really hard, but I think it's possible.
Yeah,
But,
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, we have an easier way of changing into negative traits than we do into positive traits, and I guess that's a
Oh yeah,
question. That's a question in and of itself. Is can we change our individual habits for more positive outcomes rather than negative? Because like one thing I always do is even though I work out every night or I try and do core, like I always end up eating a bunch of junk late night and it's terrible for me and I always do it and it pretty much defeats the purpose of whatever I'm doing and I can not eat all day. So I'll burn all the calories that I didn't consume that day in that individual workout, but then I eat them all back at night and then I fall asleep. So it defeats the whole purpose. Like, how do we find new ways to develop traits to be inherently positive rather than negative? I think that's definitely a good way to continue next time.
yeah, that's a very good discussion. I'm very excited for that, Loki.
It was great. Well, this one was great too, Ferris. I had a great time. We're rounding up on the hour here, just about 20 seconds left to go. Another great discussion. Put it in the books. We're looking to go to, yeah, we're looking to go to Spotify and iTunes. So if anyone enjoyed this conversation, please give us a follow on any of our social media links. It should be in his profile, could be in my profile. Anyone watching this on this Twitch stream, you already know what to do. All the social media links are on the top of the profile banner. Um, we'll be updating if we can move this to iTunes and Spotify as well. But ultimately, our actual visual conversations will end up on YouTube and Twitch, as well as the live recordings of the Twitch sessions will be on stereo. But the point of us putting them on Apple Music and iTunes is we know that as of right now there aren't that many people that come to our live showings, so we want to have them available for a wide variety of times, pretty much. Ferris, anything you'd like to add? Any additional shout outs you'd like to make?
Shout out to my homies. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think what you said was pretty adequate. Just like we're considering other forms of podcasts and platforms and all that kind of stuff. So we're certainly looking into that. But as for now, like we're very much going to try our best on stereo and Twitch and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just follow all the links that Nick talked about, and yeah, you should be enjoying more content from us in that way.
Thank you, children. It was a wonderful discussion, and we'll talk to you guys next time.